Yeah.
Jesus was a hippie, but James was a far more radical hippie, sounds like.
Right. But so similar to John the Baptist, John the Baptist was also like coming out of the forest, eating wild honey is the one that gets me. I'm like, eating wild honey. Hmm.
I mean, yeah, you can, because bees, they do their
Hmm.
thing even without us meddling into it. And
But imagine
also,
they're pollinating on something like a cannabis plant, and that's what they pollinate, and they
could be
create
anything, yeah.
psychedelic honey, and this
Oh,
guy's
it
living on some like
could.
psychedelic honey. There's
Oh, that's
actually
a good
something
point.
called the psychedelic gospels, I think, which actually goes into this whole thing about like, oh, they think a lot of that was produced by like psychedelic experience. Some people believe that about Moses and the burning bush, right? The burning bush may have been like some sort of acacia bush that actually was releasing some sort of, aroma of toxin or whatever that caused him to go into some spiritual trance or psychedelic trance. And,
I
you
mean,
know,
that is so much more likely than anything else because here's the thing: nature is obviously wonderful. Like mushrooms and flowers and so many things that have these properties that we may or may not know, right? We find out and then we know about mushrooms, so we find out and then we make it an experience. Like people who do mushrooms, let's say they make it a particular experience, or ayahuasca or whatever. Is ayahuasca a plant? Is it a plant?
it's actually a
I
mixture
actually
of
don't know.
plants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you
Um,
need like there's one that has
you
a
need to know
psychedelic
the right
compound, and
concoction.
then you actually have to have another one that allows you to receive it. So
Oh, okay.
so there's,
Okay.
for people to have just come up with this, like how did this come about? There are actually natural here in North Carolina. There are natural ayahuasca blends that grow like in
Interesting.
nature here. Um, well, one of them I don't know
Already
if is
blended
sort of
into the mixture.
no, 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 no. They're two
I'm
different things.
kidding.
It's like the what's it called? Like the passion flower, I think is or the it's a North Carolina flower that actually contains some sort of MAOI, and then yeah.
Oh
Anyway,
my
it's
god.
it's
I have to know what that flower looks like because here's the kicker. Why did I just jump in and say, "Oh, that is so much more likely?" So when I was a kid, there was this flowering plant on our yard that would bloom at night and come down during the day. So it was only blooming at night. And every single night, my friend and I would grab one of these flowers and then we would just smell it and we would just keep walking up and down the entire neighborhood. And we would just slowly start getting giddier and giddier. And then all of a sudden, we're just completely just laughing for no reason at all. We're just out of our minds. Never once thought there's anything wrong with this flower or connected any patterns. Also, in Armenia back then, I don't even know the word drug. I don't know what any of this means. We knew about weed and we looked at weed the same category as heroin. You know what I mean? So it was
yeah.
just very like Soviet Union crazy, like, yeah. And so now here I am like doing this flower thing every evening because we weren't even understanding why are we so drawn to do that. So then one day, her and I just stumble into our house while laughing and like we're already high on our minds. And then there was a doctor having dinner with my dad, and this doctor just turned around, looked at that plant, and he said, "What, what is it? Where'd you get that?" And then he just basically starts getting a little bit worried, and then he just grabs the plant, and then he must have told dad what it is, and then dad just basically ripped it all and just got rid of it. But it was basically some kind of a plant that is gets you high. I don't know what kind of high. I just remember laughing a lot. Her and I just would just get higher and higher in our the mood was uplifting in a crazy level. So yeah, this stuff is in nature, and sometimes you might not even know what are the odds of a person from thousands of years ago to have stumbled upon such things. High, very high.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And so now we know that your dad moved that stash to somewhere else.
I never saw that flower again. But hey, however, funny enough, I've had a lot of spiritual encounters, not while I was sniffing the flower, but during that period. So it's very possible that that's where my visions were happening as well, or, who knows?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's so fascinating.
But
Yeah, I
there
mean,
is a link between nature and that, because to me that's not, that doesn't that's not to discredit the spirituality actually at all.
correct.
It's the other way around. It creates such a close link with nature that you maybe would not have realized or been able to experience.
Right. Well, even in the Bible, there's a lot of mention of possible psychedelics. I could think of maybe like three right offhand. Like the mandrake root has been known to create some sort of psychedelic hallucinogenic experience, which is used in rituals. And then, canna. Canna is a word that is used, I think, regarding like incense. It was like the highest spiritual incense, which is linked to cannabis, obviously. And
Mm-hmm.
then wait, there was one more that I thought about. Even manna has been like correlated to maybe mushrooms,
Interesting.
because of their
Yeah.
description, but also wild honey. Wild honey is another one, and some of them were like he ate the honey and then his eyes were opened, or he ate the scroll and his eyes were opened. He felt the nausea in his stomach. It's very reminiscent of someone who's had some sort of psychedelic experience. But yeah, exactly. It's not something to be said like, oh, these people are doing drugs or whatever. Like we have a very negative outlook on these things. But in current times, we see like how these things have really benefited a lot of neurological and cognitive disorders and stuff like that within adults. Like they do psychedelic treatments and things of that nature. But it is very specific in the scriptures where it talks about like not going too far or eating too much honey or, because I do think that you can become a little bit detached from reality, and not realize that like, okay, but we still are existing in this physical plane, and we need to overcome and achieve something here.
Yes.
So maybe that's
Yes.
maybe that's guiding me to something that, oh, it feels great and it's so good because it is more of a spiritual experience, which is, we've all had some sort of spiritual, but it doesn't. If you live there, you don't really accomplish or overcome or achieve here. And I think that's what the
Yeah.
difference is taking the tools from that space and reusing them and understanding them here and being like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, my ego is probably not so good for me.
Yeah, yeah. And I think other tools do the exact same thing as these natural, call it psychedelics. I don't want to call it drugs, but like enhancers.